Hi everybody, my name is Chris Redshaw and I am here with Mr. Kevin Lewis. We are two of the 6 members of the Redeem team. Actually, if you'll bear with us for a second, I'll introduce the rest of our members who are sitting in the back row. Gentlemen, if you would be so kind as to raise your hand when I call your name. Let's start out with Mr. Justin Toulon. We've got Mr. Nick Bruno. Of course, who could forget Jong Sewell. And finally, Mr. Kevin Dias. Now everybody's probably wondering why we've decided to do this presentation via video, but we considered, based on the nature of the IMC challenge, that we might as well find a new way to mix things up a little bit, so we certainly hope you enjoy what we've prepared for you. That being said, let's jump straight into our program overview. Firstly, we want students who are enrolled in the IMC program at UNR to develop the necessary skills to become leaders in communication and marketing fields. We feel that if we can provide them with the skills they need to achieve the goals of the organizations they work for, we would, of course, be fulfilling the reason why they enrolled in our course. This program should provide the right IMC knowledge, give confidence, and develop an expert understanding of communications and technology. The curriculum we offer should emphasize the most effective and innovative marketing solutions. Students should be able to clearly see the value of this program starting with their very first lesson. We think it's imperative that students gain a real understanding of the elements that drive consumer behavior. I mean, what really causes people to buy a product or change a brand opinion? We need an adaptive curriculum that answers these questions. It must be built on a traditional communications and business foundation, but it definitely should have an emphasis on non-traditional and guerrilla marketing and new forms of delivering messages. Finally, this program should not be limited to people who only live in a close proximity to Reno, and if possible, should be available to the entire nation. So how do we go about actually accomplishing these goals? And how would this program be positioned? Where would it stand compared to our competitors?
Well, Chris, let's first talk about the demand.
The demand?
Yes, Chris, the demand. We expect the first year to attract a modest number of students, around 15 to be more precise. However, our main competitor, the University of West Virginia, started with about the same enrollment, 17 actually, and now 5 years later, they have grown to over 2,100 students for their full-time program.
So, in the span of 5 years, they've taken their IMC program from 17 initial students in 2003 to over 2,000 in 2008.
You're right, you heard it right. This means that their exclusively online IMC Masters program has grown at a ridiculous rate, something around 12,000%.
So, do you think that we could use 12,000% as any kind of reliable forecasting?
Whoa, let's hold off a little bit. I think that's a little much. So let's just say we use a third of that rate. That means in 5 years from now, our modest calculation of 15 students will now have grown to a little over 700.
So if we have 700 extra students in 5 years, do you know how hard that's going to be to find a parking spot?
Relax, Chris. That's why we're planning on starting this online program. Remember, in fact, that's why we're recording this, to show an example.
All right.
Anyway, as you can see by looking at the positioning map that I handed out to all of you, we are currently charging $450 per credit, while our competitor is charging a much higher price of $796.
It's almost double.
So with this large demand and our low prices in comparison to the competitor, we see no reason why our prediction isn't accessible. Maybe our professors deserve a raise. Or maybe, depending on the video, how this turns out, maybe not.
We'll find out. So who would this program be intended for?
Well, Chris, this program is designed for the working professionals, people with a lot to do at home, at work, and everywhere else. These are people that really need a program like this to help them move up in the executive world. These people are the reason why the University of West Virginia has grown so fast.
And I guess by going online, we would of course be able to open up new markets all across the United States and bring the idea of attending UNR to people that it just frankly would not be accessible to. We feel like this would be a very attractive offer, considering that we'd be offering an executive level, premium, and fully accredited degree with, you know, a fair amount, if I may say so, of prestige. I do have a question though. Would this program always be online?
I'm glad you asked that. And Chris, you wanted an adaptive curriculum. This program could easily be a more traditional structure. We're absolutely open to the possibility. At this time, we just want to make sure that this IMC plan can become a reality in the most cost-effective way. Right now, doing this online makes it the best possible business decision. But I got a question. How did we come up with $450 a credit?
Well, the best way to answer the cost question is by looking exclusively at our primary research. After surveying 31 current college students, we found that the majority of our respondents would pay up to $450 per credit for a premium graduate program. Now, this being said, 62% of the respondents that we surveyed were business students, so there's a good chance that they would be looking at similarly priced MBA programs. You know, the IMC program would be attractive to them. Further, 50% of our total respondents were in a senior position, so this could actually be a short-term decision for them.
Oh, okay. Now I want to take your attention to where we would like to take our program in 5 years. If you look into the second handout, we have pointed out that we see the future of this program by UNR having a high enrollment and still being competitively priced, and the program itself will stand the test of time.
Well, it sounds like an interesting proposition thus far, but can we talk a little bit more about what it takes to get into this program?
No problem. We've studied the requirements to many schools across the nation to come up with a recommendation that we see fits our program. We would like a candidate with an accredited bachelor's degree and a minimum of 2 years experience. Some candidates who have done exceptionally well in their undergrad, they might be considered.
Probably not guys like you and I. Anyway, to finally conclude here in short, what we hope that this program will do is to provide our target with the ability to get to the next step in their marketing and communications careers and become leaders by making it as accessible, as competitively priced, and as we've said before, in our opinion, as prestigious. We expect that the UNR Integrated Marketing Communications graduate degree will be an industry leader. Thank you very much for your time.
We would love to take any questions that you might have for us at this time.